to look at the series of signings by Rivers Hoopers is the media officer of Rivers Hoopers, Queen Moseph, joins us this evening. Good evening to you and welcome to Game On.
Good evening, Favor. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Rivers Hoopers, the Real Madrid of basketball in Nigeria. Once again, they've gone to the market and you guys have been able to bring in 4 wonderful signings so far. I mean, what is it like in the team? What do you guys hope to achieve this season? A third place finish the last time out. Are you guys looking at the title?
Sure. For a team who went as far as finishing third in our second season of the BAL, we never thought we would have gone that far. We actually beat our own imagination. Last season, our target was, let's just get to the playoffs. Let's just go out of the group or the conference, of which we did. Afterwards, it's like we can actually go far, looking at the squad and how well we perform in the Sahara Conference. And we went as far, even though the semifinals really hurt us. We thought we would have made it the first Nigerian team to get to the final, but we didn't. But having gotten that far and achieved that last season, we came back and rallied around ourselves and see how we can bring some of those players that played for us last season. And that's why you're seeing Kelvin, Amayo, you're seeing Peter, Olisemeka. So it's been lovely to have all of them back and then maybe make 1 or 2 additions, but you know how things pan out, and the year is always bringing you something different. But we are good. We are happy to have Kelvin and Peter Olisemeka. Our target this year is to move farther than we did last season. Last season we finished third place. If we can make it to the finals, all well and good. But we're taking it one game at a time and one conference at a time. Our target now is to get out of the group, and the group is tough. Like I spoke to you the last time about the conference and how the teams are really tough there. So, but it will tell what to be able to produce on the court. And we start off with the signings, of which you're seeing the kind of signings we've made so far. I will strengthen the squad and also replace those players that left the team after last season. So our target this year, first of all, is to get out of the conference and make up for the playoffs. Then the playoffs, we can see if we can push farther than we did last season.
All right, Toyin, you have a question for her?
Yeah, Queen. I know we talked about the fact that Perry, I think I call it Perry.
Will Perry
isn't going to be available this time. It's a big miss. These signings, do you feel they are capable replacements for Perry? You've signed 4 players now. Are you still thinking of bringing more, to beef up the squad? And then when you look at how well you performed last season and the preparations you've put in place for this season, do you think you have a squad that is good enough to get out of the group, first of all, and then maybe begin to make progress on a game-by-game basis?
Okay, let me take the last question first. Yes, we have a squad good enough. We do have a squad good enough. And I think the players we have now will be able to take us far or even replicate whatever we had last season. I know it's not going to be easy. Everybody is coming to the BL to win. They want to win it. 12 teams at the end of the day, just one champion. I think with the signings we've made, I think we can go far. And let me say it for the very first time on News Central. I don't think I've revealed this across any form of medium or media. We still have 2 more signings to be announced in the coming days. So definitely we'll be having 2 more. After that 2 more, we'll call it a day. But can these players sort of replace the likes of Will Perry or the others that didn't make it? For Okoi, Jackson Okoi is a like for like when it comes to Will Perry. They are both point guards. They can also score. They can also shoot the ball very well. I think for Okoi, he has what Will Perry doesn't have. And what does he have that Will Perry doesn't have? He has size, and he also is a very defensive player. South Sudanese players are very tall. You see them from 6'5", 6'7", 6'8", even 7. They are always that tall. They have the size, and they are always very good defensively. So that's one area that Will Perry didn't have. We had to make up for Will Perry last season, where he was basically shooting the ball, running the offense. He had good vision on the ball, assist and all that. But defensively, for anyone who watch our game, you will know that we covered for Will Perry as much as possible defensively. He has that deficiency when it comes to on defense, of which Okoi has over him. But if you want to say offensively, Will Perry has it over him. That's just the truth. So it's just have to create that balance. But we still have more players on the squad who can also shoot the ball well. So whatever Okoi cannot make up, the others will make up. We really don't want. It's not a must to have a player who can shoot all the threes. Yes, is he good on the three? Yes, he's good. But is he also good in also dictating plays and also managing the game, of which is expected of a point guard? Yes, he can do so. For a player who has been on the national team since 2020, it speaks a whole lot about him. He plays in the National League in Australia. It speaks a whole lot about him, and he's just 24 years of age. So he's just finished from the qualifiers, the Afrobasket qualifiers with South Sudan. It speaks a lot about him. So if it's one man they trust as their point guard, their main point guard, and he's a key player of the South Sudan team, and what South Sudan have achieved going to the Afrobasket in 2021, he went to the Olympics, also at the qualifiers, then you should know that there is something about this man. Then going to Madut Akec. Madut Akec is a forward. And last season, he played against us practically in the Sahara Conference. And the 2 games he played against River Supers when he played for AS Douanes, he practically gave us a headache. Like, it was too hot to handle. In as much as we won one of the games, they won the second. It was too hot. The first game, he got a double-double. The second game, he got 17 points, 8 rebounds. So it was really difficult for us to handle from him. So he's a very good forward. He also has size as well. He can also score for a forward like him. So I think with the signings we've made, it might not be like for like, completely like for like, but we try to improve on the signings of last season. Like I mentioned, for Perry, very good offensive player. You can see, really can see from very far and see from behind. But for Okoi, it's a very good defense. It mix up on defense. And for basketball, defense wins your matches. That's just the truth.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly ask. I understand your idea of the BAL, bringing the very best players, you know, from different places in the world, G League, D League, Croatia, Australia. The more the merrier. I mean, it gives it an international feel. But I wanted to ask you, at what point, because we've been signing these players, Will Perry, you know, the South Sudanese, at what point in time will our own players be in high demand for other clubs in the BAL? Because I've not heard that a player from River Supers has joined Douanes or a Tunisian side or a South African side. Is it happening that we are not aware of, or what's happening? Does that not speak volume of maybe the quality that River Supers has in its own base players?
It's actually the rules. It's actually the rules. That's why you will not get to see a River Supers player who is a local player get to play for AS Douanes or a Monaster. Because according to the BAL rules, from the players who qualify the team, that's from the National League, from your respective Premier Leagues to the BAL, you can only take 6 or 7 of them to the BAL. Only 6 or at most 7 of them to the BAL. Then the other team, the other players, the 5 or the 6 players that will make up the team, including the Elevate player who is coming from the NBA Academy, has to be players of African heritage from across the other part of Africa. Or if he's a Nigerian like you, he has to be player on diaspora, and that's why the likes of Kelvin Amayo is our player from diaspora, even though he's a Nigerian, he grew up in Canada, was born in Canada. So it is the rules that really limits the players from River Supers, who are the local-based players, to say, okay, they're going to play for Manasseh. It is the rules. There is nothing that's against them not to play against or play for international teams. Is the rules, and we're just going about the rules. But then again, if they want to move to other club sides around Africa or outside of Africa, oh well and good, they will go ahead. We've seen some players from River Supers who have left. Like I can tell you for a fact, there is one guy called Bayo. Bayo left us 2 years ago. He went to the Benin Republic League. From there, he now plays in Azerbaijan. So you can actually move. Nobody stops you, but it's just the rules. The rules state even it cuts across board, not just River Supers. All 12 teams, all of the 12 local-based players or domestic league players who qualify the team to the Basketball Africa League. You can only have 6 or 7 of them. At the end of the day, when we've announced our last 2 signings, we will now announce our official roster, our final roster for the BAL. Then you will get to see the 6 or 7 players from the domestic players who qualified the team to the BAL who made up the squad. And it's just the rules. The rules are the rules. Sadly and unfortunately, we just have to follow the rules.
All right.
I remember that the likes of Ikediogwu has played for some clubs in the BAL. Zamalek, yes. So, yeah, they are African players of African heritage or international players of African heritage are allowed to play for some of these different clubs. So, we'll see.
Even as we speak, Caleb Agada, who played just at the Afrobasket qualifiers, has been taken by the Libyan team, Tripoli, because we played against Libya, and they saw him and they saw how good he was. They picked him. So he played for the Libyan team this BAL.
I wanted to ask why you didn't, grab as many as you can from the D Tigers team that went for the last Afrobasket qualifiers.
Okay, like last season, we were able to grab Divine Akec. And Divine was after the qualifiers last year, February, in Tunisia. Fortunately for my coach, Okoi, who was assistant on that particular team, and that was where he saw Divine Akec and he spoke to him. Can you come play? And that was how everybody got to know, Divine, and he really blew up at the BAL. So, but this time around, I think it was sort of a break in communication or something. And also funds as well, because I can remember speaking to my coach, telling him, "Are you sure we'll not pick one or two players from this Afrobasket?" And it was like he was told, all of these players are contracted with their clubs. So if you want to pull them out of the contract or buy their contract, then you have to double your pay or double their pay or buy out their contract, which is really huge. For example, if the player is earning as much as maybe $10,000 or $15,000 in his club side, it will mean you have to buy it out. And if their season will be up to April or May or so, you have to buy it out. And it will really come difficult or come expensive. So by the time we got to hear that Caleb Agada has gone to Tripoli, we're like, oh, we're looking for a point guard. What happened, coach? We couldn't have allowed Caleb Agada go to another team. And his explanation was they had to buy out his contract. And for us, it would have been a lot of money to do that. So I wouldn't have blamed him, because practically looking at what our financial capacity is, I think they have a lot of money. For an average player, international player playing for Al team, like even the Libyan team that played last year, Al Benghazi, they're earning as much as $25,000 per month, $20 per month. They're spending a whole lot of money. So it's not easy. The BAL is a lot of money attracted. It's becoming a mercenary league. So it wasn't easy for us. If we wanted to do so, we would have loved to do so, to have maybe the likes of Ike Wamo or a Caleb Agada, but unfortunately we couldn't.
All right, Queen, we'll be keeping tabs with your team, River Supers, and we hope that they can take a step further this time around. Thank you very much for the updates on River Supers and what they've been able to do so far ahead of the 2025 BAL.